Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 11th and the second to last round of Season 16 in Division 2 here at Interlagos for the Brazilian Grand Prix. My name is Enela Phoenix One, and today I'm joined by Jonathan.
Hello, long time no Div 2 for me, but we are back.
It's been a while that I've actually had a co-commentator. Well, or that I had you at least. Sometimes I'd have Dylan or
Yeah.
Mihai joining after they.
I think my last race was Baku, and I joined midway through for that.
Maka was a good one, so if that's anything to go off. Well, today, a potential title deciding race. Well, either way, there will be some sort of decision happening today. It's the second to last race of the season. Edwin is coming into this race with a 30-point advantage over Gabri. And with Edwin having 2 wins and 4 P2s to Gabri's 1 win and 3 P2s, while Edwin also has 2 P3s and Gabri only has 1, so Gabri is behind in terms of countback in every single one of those. It's not possible for Gabri to beat Edwin if they tie, which means that Gabri will have to bring the points gap down to 25 or less today, because if it's 26, of course there's the possibility of a fastest lap and a win that would bring him to a tie if Edwin scores 0 next round, but the tie would be won by Edwin, so Gabri has to be within 25 points to still be within mathematical contention coming into the last race at Monza next week. Pisivoli is also still mathematically in contention, but if you go through the drivers list on the left-hand side, you will see no Pisivoli today. He's unfortunately not able to race, so his championship charge, well, he was 42 points behind, so mathematically he was involved, realistically not, but that's the nail in the coffin for him. He will not be winning the championship this season. Weather report, all dry. That is very boring. A dry Brazilian Grand Prix, who wants that? So 30 points behind for Gabri. It's quite a long way behind Edwin that he has to try and make up in these last 2 races. But of course, I would say it's possible. Certainly Edwin is the massive, massive favorite now. But we've seen it in Division 1 already. Cars are finishing down in 8th, I believe it was, after Stuart points, while I finished 2nd. It's a big point swing in my favor, and all of a sudden, the championship, while it's very much still in favor of Kart Racer, I have a chance coming into the last race. And I think that's what Gabri is looking for as well. I mean, it would have to be a miracle, really, for Gabri to come into the last race. Well, no, actually, no matter what, Edwin is the favorite coming into the last race, even if a miracle occurs today. But Gabri can give himself a chance. Oh, and we've got Arda, who's on the first level of the session, going around at turn 4, lap invalidated, front wing damaged. And that's the end of his banker lap. He's gonna have to try again later. Thankfully the car, well, not in one piece, the front wing is completely gone, but well, the wheels are all still attached, so you can go back to the pit lane and try again later. The next car on the hot lap is Aussie in the Mercedes. It's worth mentioning, coming into this race, the most successful driver around Brazil is actually Sean. But I would say it's a bit misleading, because I would say the actual best record around here goes to Kuko. Of course, we all remember a certain date that I think if I mention on stream, Kuko will have some bad flashbacks. But yeah, Sean has got 1 win around here and 2 podiums, which is the most of anyone in the 4 races we've done around this track. But Kuko has actually had 3 out of 4 pole positions around here. The only pole position he didn't get was in Season 10, the first ever race around Brazil, which I'm not sure. I don't think Kuko was even in the league back then. Back on F122, that was taken by Gabri. And, well, his pole time, last time we went here, which actually still on F124, was a 107.575. So I would imagine that we're going to be in the low 107s. Of course, drivers will have gotten a little bit faster in the last couple of months since we did that race. You know, people improve at the game, makes sense. So I imagine we'll have a low 107 as the pole time. First 107 of the session comes from Edwin, 107.920. And now we had from Gabri, 107.577. He's dunked 4 tenths on his teammate already. 3.5, but still that's a significant gap between the two. Good start for Gabri. It's exactly what he needs. And there he is, the man I was talking about, Kukyo, 107.502. A new fastest lap time here in qualifying. We've got Lanky Brown up to the 11th lap. A Kick Sauber doing qualifying. Not something we see too often. 108.753, only P9. Maybe we should stick to not qualifying. We've got Flavors right behind the Williams of Sean. They are both finishing it up, so Flavors actually a bit cheekily, I think, did the whole lap behind Sean and got a nice slipstream. Sean are back in the pits and... Oh, Flavors! No! No! 107.849, that would have been P3. But he's made a very silly mistake. Oh, and a silly mistake as well there, maybe from Arda, as I think he's been... Maybe he's crashed in the pit exit, yeah, because he's been disqualified. Coming out the pit lane there, for blocking the pit lane. I was saying about Flavors, he followed Sean into the pit lane. Sean was pitting, and Flavors was just copying his lines to get slipstream. So he drove into the pit entry, and then turned out of it. Of course, he cut the corner with doing that, and the lap was invalidated. And Arda putting an end to his qualifying session very early on there. So he comes to the pit lane for a second lap. I suppose he crashed in the pit exit, and of course that will be determined as him blocking the pit exit by the game. And he gets disqualified pretty much immediately. Rather unlucky for him. Kukyo is on another lap now. Already top. Aussie goes third fastest. Kukyo violates. We've got Flavors, I think, starting and... No, he goes back to the pit lane. We've got Sully on a lap. Sully, of course, one of the faster drivers in this division as well. Always want to look out for. Well, maybe today. Well, definitely today, but maybe also next week. Still our reigning champion. The title will go to Edwin or Gabri after that. We shall see if he can, well, end this title defense that he's not going to be very happy how it went. At least end it on a high. So he comes up over the hill and down to the line. The real Sully. He's going to qualify in P3 there, 107.643. 1.5 tenths separating him from Kukyo in P1. Right now we've got an Italian 1, 2, 3. The Tifosi are going to be very, very happy right now. We've got Marcelio coming up the river on a slow run there, 52.9. Looks like a bit of grass picked up on the right hand side there on the braking, which actually is an old esports line through that corner. You used to do it a lot, braking on the grass, to just open the corner up a little bit more, because the grass didn't really affect your braking performance at all. Doesn't work at all anymore. Definitely does affect your braking performance nowadays. But Marcelio maybe caught in old ways. Or he just misjudged his braking. I'm not sure if he was racing that long ago, because it's a long time since that was meta. I think F1 2020 was the last time he did that. That he would brake on the grass coming into the last corner. It was fun though, should bring it back. It looked pretty stupid. Edwin on a second lap of the session now. Previous best 107.920. He's gained half a tenth from the first sector already. And he's gonna need a big gain. He is down in 5th at the moment. But that doesn't tell the full story. 5th of course wouldn't be too bad, but he's 4 tenths off pole. So it's quite likely he's gonna drop far down the field later once everybody else gets a good lap in. Because usually, around Brazil, you don't get gaps that big from the pole time to, I would say, the upper midfield. So at the end of Sector 2, Edwin on a 51.5. He's up by 3 tenths, exactly what he needs. Good lap from Edwin. Not the best finals corner though. Now it's going to cost him a little bit of time as he goes up the hill now. Of course, burning all the overtake down to the line. Hugging the inside wall. That's a 107.784. He's lost about 1.5 tenths in that last sector. And he stays in 5th place, but he does get a whole lot closer to the cars ahead of him. Gets himself a nice cushion. Kukyo on another lap now. Of course, our current pole sitter 107.502 to beat. Let's see if he can put even more time between himself and Gabri in P2. 15,000 down in the first sector, and that turn 4 didn't look quite ideal. A lot of curb used on the inside, which I think cost his exit a little bit, even though it did seem like some very nice rotation. And that was also, well, not so nice rotation, way too much rotation in fact, coming up the hill on that flat-out right-hander. Loses the rear end and goes, well, not quite around, but he has to correct.
Just backed out.
Yeah, he lets the Haas of Yusuf through. Yusuf currently in 10th position on a 108.329. Coming down the hill, that's going to be a 70,000th improvement through the middle sector. And now back up the hill, down towards the line. A lot of EAS still for him to be used here in this last sector. And he's going to burn all of it, of course. EAS enabled, down to the line for Yusuf. That's going to be a 108.083. 7th position, he beats his teammate Guerrero by 5,000ths of a second. Very, very close to the two Haas drivers there. Picks down in 13th at the moment, lost a bit of time in the first sector. Sully on an out lap, Garbany on a hot lap at the moment as well. He's going to try and displace Kuku off that top spot. And it looks to be a pretty good minute. They use ulting actually through here, which is not something I would expect to see, but he has a different EAS strategy maybe. And a little bit more ulting as well coming down the hill. And he's up by 1.5 tenths. That will bring in pole position if he brings it over the line with a similar final setup to before. That last corner looked very good. Low speed carried back on the power very early. DRS enabled now. And over the line for Gabri, that will be a 107.432, and that indeed is provisional pole position. But Kuko, he's also gone again on the used enough tire from last lap, and he's up by just over a tenth as well. So Kuko might just take pole position back immediately, but that last corner didn't look good at all. Very loose on the rear and the throttle, and that will have cost him a little bit of time. Let's see. He's not going to finish the lap, so it cost him too much time. Kuko's going to try again later. He's got one more chance, I would say, in this qualifying session to get a clean lap in to reclaim that pole position of Gabri. Could Gabri be the first man to actually beat Kuko to a pole position around Brazil? Because the only two pole sitters in Division 2 around Brazil are Gabri and Kuko. Gabri having it, like I said, back in Season 10 when Kuko was not even racing with us. Sully gained a bit of time in the first sector as well though. So it's not between those two only, of course. The rest of the field still gonna want to get involved in that battle for pole. Aussie has invalidated the run he's currently on. Sully coming down the hill and over the end of sector 2 line. He's up by just over a tenth. That could be enough to beat Kuko if he gains a bit of time on the final sector, but that didn't look great. A bit of a moment of oversteer coming out of that last corner, and I think it's compromised his run down the line. He's still going to finish the lap, and he only gains 84 thousandths, gets himself closer to Kuku, further away from Aussie behind, but he stays in P3. Edwin, 33 thousandths gained in the first sector, the next in the front runner who is out on track to put in another lap. Sean as well, coming down towards CSNS right now. So let's stay on with Edwin, our current championship leader. Like we said, 30 points ahead of Gabri. It's all in his hand. Really, all he needs to do is keep it calm. He doesn't need any miracles, really. He just needs 2 calm races, some decent results. He's 91 thousandths down in the middle sector. But let's see if we can find a bit more in the final. That looked like a good last corner. Although he's quite low on the EAS already. So that might cost him on the run down to the line, and he's not going to finish the lap, so no improvement coming from Edwin. Meanwhile, Sean coming up to the end of sector 2 as well. A 3/10th improvement, Sean. 107.989 previously, 107.6 would put him 4th place. Let's see if he can gain even more in the final sector. A massive improvement coming from Sean here. And over the line, that puts him in P4, 107.559. He's exactly tied with Sully. Of course, Sully has done the lap earlier, which means he gets ahead.
You don't see that very often.
You certainly don't. Kujo on another lap now as well. You know, flag in sector 2, so I'm not sure how much time we have left. This could be his last one though. I think that was 3.5 minutes if I saw it correctly. For a second, that's yeah, 3.5. There we go. So maybe one more on the same sort of tire as possible, but he's quite low on fuel, so this should be it for Kukro. He's up by 43,000, a small improvement coming. And a good exit out the last corner, maybe a little bit more left in the tank. Coming up the hill, can he displace Gabriel off the top here in Brazil? Over the line for Kukro, it's gonna be 107.4 dead, and that is provisional pole for the Italian in the Red Bull. The Italian in the Ferrari still in the pit lane. He's a bit more time left to go before he has to go out for that last run here in qualifying. Rival 42,000 up in the first, 89,000 up in the second. And look how close that midfield is. Yusuf 108.083, Viral 108.086, Guga 108.088. Viral 107.915. He beats Yusuf to P7, the Haas back together in 8th and 9th. Marcello coming up with another lap, but he's 20 seconds down in the middle sector, so that's not going to be any slow improvement. Yeah, he goes back to the pit lane. And for Kukro, he's out of fuel now. He won't have enough time, I think, to get back into the pits and back out. So that could be it.
Done.
Gabriel, of course, he's out on track now. So is Sully. Yusuf is out already. Rest of the field still in the pit lane, but they are slowly coming out now for their last runs here in quali. And we shall see. Gabriel, he only needs to gain 32,000 here to get that pole position back. Kukro is back in the pits. He might actually... No, he's just being pushed in right now. Nah, he's not... Okay, no, he's not gonna make it in
You
time.
have to be leaving now.
Yeah, he's not gonna make it. So the first one, starting our last laps here, was Viral actually, who is already over the line. And here validates, and then we have Yusuf, who starts the last lap of the session now. Currently down in P8. I wouldn't say down, that's a good position. Third gear for the SNS, shorting to 4th. Takes as much of the inside curve as possible. And at the end of the first sector, Yusuf looked like a good first sector. I think he's gained, yep, 19,000 gained for Yusuf. Then we have Sully, of course, one of the championship contenders at the start of the season. 21,000 up. Definitely want to look out for pole position as well. He can certainly gain that time at Kukro. He has that pace in him. 11,000 lost for Gabri in that first sector. Let's go back to Yusuf as he's coming up to the end of sector 2 here. Bit of overtake use as well, just to get a bit of speed in the car for next corner. And down the hill, at the end of sector 2, he goes a little bit wide through here. He's up by close to 2/10. Well, basically 2/10. And that could put him ahead of Rival if he gained a little bit more time, maybe even ahead of Edwin and Ossie. DRS enabled, down to the line for Yusuf. That's going to be a 107.927. He stays in 8th place, lost a bit of time in the last sector and couldn't even beat Rival, unfortunately for him. Sully over the line, 107.428 is not quite enough to beat Kukro. It's enough to beat Gabri, but does Gabri have an answer to that? Gabri over the line, no, Gabri's third fastest. Sean, Ossie, Edwin are all out on track as well right now. So they're going to try and displace the guys at the top. Sean will be the first of those over the line. Phantom Fox also out on the track. Sean down by 1.5 tenths, no improvement coming there. Ossie up by 5,000 in the first sector. But has he got anything in the middle of that? No, 3.5 tenths down. Edwin up by just over a tenth. He is about to beat Ossie. And maybe Sean, if he can gain a bit more in the final sector. At the moment, it looks like Kukro's got pole position secure because Edwin was not improving by nearly enough. 107.569 for Edwin, that's 5th fastest. Last car still going is Phantom Fox, who's coming up to the line now. This one and only lap here in qualifying is going to be enough to put him 7th! 107.778, he'll be happy with that for sure. Yusuf is on a slow lap, so that means we are done. And once again, for the 4th time, sorry, Kukro is on pole in Brazil. But look at those margins. 28,000 to Sully, 32,000 to Gabri, 4,000 between Sully and Gabri in second and third. Yeah, an Italian 1, 2 and 3. Then we have Sean and Edwin crazy close together as well. 10,000 between Sean and fifth and Edwin and Sean and fourth and Edwin and fifth, sorry. Then Aussie and Phantom 773 and 778, 5,000 between those two. Flavors in 8th, followed by Raul. I think that was also really close between those two, if I saw it correctly. So yeah, some very, very tight margins here in Brazil. Yusuf rounds out the top 10, and then Guerrero with a 108 dead in 11th, followed by Desi in 12th with a 108.229, then Bazooka 108.261, Always 108.298 in 14th, then we have your Pix 108.497, Action Break 108.682 in 16th, followed by Lanky Brown 108.753, 3000 to Marcelia 108.756, and finally Arda, who crashed in the pit exit and got disqualified for it, makes up the last place on the grid. So having seen that, who do you reckon has got the best cards for the win now?
I mean, the stats say not Kuko because of his poor pole to win ratio, but his pace is clearly the best around this track, and it's shown the last, what is it, 4 and 5? Is that what we said?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll back Kuko.
I'm gonna say Gabri. I don't know why, but I have a feeling that Gabri. He says he's given up on this title. He always says it's over, but I don't know. I think something special is coming from Gabri. I believe in the man. Maybe I just want to believe so that we can have a nice title finale. Maybe it's a delusion, but I think Gabri's got something special for us. I hope he does. I don't really have a driver I root for in this title fight. I wouldn't mind seeing either Evan or Gabri win it. They both would very much deserve it. I just wanted to go down to the last race, basically. Well, and here we go. The 5 red lights are on. We're ready for the race start, and it's lights out, and away we go. And Kuko gets away pretty decently. Yep, he saved the turn 1. Gabri can go around the outside of Sully, though, for second place. But I think Sully's got the edge on him. And hangs on. Sean and Edwin battling in behind, and Sean is going to come out on top there, but goes off track slightly. Probably a track limit warning for Sean. Edwin trying to switch back down the end of the nose there. But Sean hanging on around the outside, does he? Edwin tries to sneak up the inside, and I think he's pulled it off there. Yes, he has. Sean still in there, back up the hill now, into the not so flat out right-hander anymore now in the race. Edwin very wide. It's quite bumpy out there, but he's gotten lucky to get away with that, and now still hanging on around the outside. What a battle this is from Edwin and Sean, but I think finally Edwin has now pulled ahead and secures 4th place against Sean. At the front, all staying the same. Kuko leads from Sully and Gabri. Flavors is, well, he was a bit glitched for me at the start. It's happened in like every race so far, the last 3 weeks or something. Yellow flags for Pix, who is brown at the back. Coming to the end of the first lap, Sean under big pressure from Aussie. Of course, he would have used a lot of ES in that battle with Edwin. And now he has to be careful. But he hangs on to 5th place, at least for the moment. Apparently Flavors a whole minute behind Yusuf, but I think that's going to sort itself in a moment. Yeah, it's been happening quite a bit, those glitch times. Gabri has a look at at Sully, sorry. Phantom tries to go around the outside of Aussie, but it's not going to happen either. So all the drivers still in their positions. No one's really making many moves here. It's a very calm start to the race. As I say that, that's a Haas round. That's Guga River. And he rejoins the track. Whoa. It's a 10-second penalty for corner cutting, actually.
Yep.
That was, I would say, a questionable rejoin. But I think he was actually on the brakes. I'm not sure there's much he could have done, really, when you're on the grass like that. Just don't have a whole lot of control about the car. It's worth mentioning, actually, Kuko is running with a throttle issue today. He said before the race that his throttle doesn't really work in the low speed corners. I'm not sure what that means. But it doesn't sound great. But so far, so good for him. Hangs on around the outside there. Sonny has a look up the inside into the center S. But the top four, very close together right now. Sean is a bit further back, 5/10 away from Edwin in 4th place. Does seem like we have got our main contenders for this race win in Kuku, Sonny, Gabi and Edwin. Which, well, if you're Gabi, you need Edwin really to be a bit lower down. You need Sean to get a move on. Phantom Fox though.
If it said like this, Edwin would be the champion.
Indeed, right now this is enough for Edwin. He would lose 3 points ahead against Gabi, would be 27 ahead. But if Gabi makes the move on Sonny, he would be back in mathematical contention. But I think Gabi wants a bit more than just mathematical chances in the last race. He would like to actually have a realistic shot of overcoming Edwin's points advantage, because if he comes into the last race, say 25 points behind, well, yeah, it's certainly possible, but when does Edwin score 0 points? And then we have a change for the lead. That's Sully and Gabi both getting past Kuku. Oh, does Gabi get past? No, he does not. Kuku hangs on to the lead.
Quite conservative from Gabi.
Yeah, I suppose it's very early in the race. He doesn't really need to go and lead right now. It doesn't really matter. It's F124 after all. You will have plenty of other opportunities to make that move. And if you pass him now, you just get to be overtaken next lap. So why go into a risky battle like that? And I think that's the mindset for all of these drivers, really. They're not gonna go all out here, because on a track like Brazil, it's not really possible to drive away from the field anyway. There simply isn't enough corners to the so yeah, I think that's where you will start to see drivers get their elbows out a bit and try and actually get the track position, because then you'll have some tire differences, and you will have undercuts, overcuts, where it would be crucial to put in some good lap times, because that is your chance to get away from people. As Phantom's trying to make a move on Aussie for 6th place. Of course, a little bit further down the field, there actually is a lot more incentive to make these moves. So he's gonna try and hang around the outside from the center S. Whoa! Just about getting away with that one. Bit of contact made on the apex of turn 2. And now Aussie forces him all the way to the pit wall on the left hand side. But Phantom does finally complete that move. He's up into 6th place. In the background, I think that was Desi and Yusuf were battling on 9th. Yeah, Phantom now no longer in DRS in the top 5. Good spot. He's gonna have to put his foot down from the middle sector to get back into the battle for the win.
At the top, using none ERS through here? Not really, no. Sean is. Yeah,
in Division 1, in the middle sector, you'd basically... Oh, Edwin! With a disconnect! You'd basically always see the leaders running non-ERS in the middle sector, so they have more on those very long straights, because the middle sector, of course, is so slow.
Yeah. Okay,
I've invited Edwin back in. But that's, well, exactly the miracle that Gabi needed, but for Edwin, that's, what a nightmare. I've invited Edwin back in, so hopefully he can... There he is.
He is
back in the lobby. But it's gonna cost him, I think. Well, he's already cost him 2 places. It's about to cost him 2 more to Aussie and Viral.
Change or 2 here.
And look at that. Gabi's still stuck behind in 3rd place, although he's trying it against Sully. Taking a little bit more risk. Now he's around the outside into that fast right-hander. I think Sully has the advantage. And he pulls ahead.
Gabi going off track there.
Edwin, I think, is back in control of the car, so he's... Thankfully for him, these cars are all quite close to get... No, he's not back in control yet. The car's just unghosted. Edwin is out!
Oh no.
Edwin has had the same glitch that has cost Gabi a championship before. He couldn't take control of the car, so he pressed quit to main menu, and of course that retires your car. The only way that you can avoid that is by restarting the entire game. He would have had to just close the game, and then he would have been fine. Well, not fine, he would have had to of course get back in the lobby again, try and take control. But that's Edwin out of the race.
This is huge for Gabri now. He has to take advantage. He has to really get a top 2 from this. Like, a win obviously will make it, what, 4 points?
All of a
4 to
sudden,
5
it's
points.
completely in Gabri's hands again. 30-point gap, of course. Edwin will still be championship leader, no matter what. But if Gabri can come out of this race with a win and bring that points gap down to just, 4 points. Is that right? Well, that would be brilliant
4 or
fast
5,
lap.
depending on fastest lap.
4 or 5. Then, if he then also wins the next race, there's nothing Edwin can do. Even if he can finish his P2, that will be Gabri the champion.
Yeah, P2 for Gabri today would leave it as a 12 or 11 point gap. That's still quite a bit to climb.
A lead change once again, that's slowly getting past Kuko and Gabri trying to hang around the outside. Oh, Edwin's reaction is, cool. Easy. I suppose if it wasn't over text, it would be a lot more emotion than that, I imagine. But that's some very, very bad news. Edwin now needs to hope that these other guys up here can take as many points as possible off Gabri. And all of a sudden, the championship fight, it looked over for Gabri. When I said Gabri had something special for us today, I didn't think it would mean, like, cutting Lithuanian internet. That is not what I had in mind.
It's finally coming back to him after all the disconnects he's had before.
Yeah, Gabri, like I said, Gabri has lost a championship this himself before. As he now re-overtakes for P2 against Kuko, and he overtakes Sully as well to turn 1 up the inside, I think. Is he gonna pull that one off? Not quite, he backs out. But he's up to P2 now. Yeah, Gabri has been on the other end of this. Finally some luck on his side, you could say. As he takes the lead of the Grand Prix. I mean, I don't want to say that too early, maybe. Yellow flags
big
in
slide
the
for Gabri.
first corner. Marcelio is round, and he has picked up massive damage there as well. He was with Aktenrick and Arda, I believe, so might have been a collision between those 3.
You nearly jinxed Gabri within 5 seconds of speaking that.
Seriously?
He had a massive slide out of turn 4.
Oh my god. Well, the good news for Edwin is that there's a 7-car train in this battle for the win, so Gabri could realistically finish as low as 7th if he, top spin all of those guys.
Yeah.
Which, would put Gabri into mathematical contention, being 24 points behind, but...
What Edwin needs to be champion now is for Gabri to be P8 or lower.
Yeah. To win the championship today, that's a good point. So, most likely, we are going to the last race. Skullku gets back past Sean, and Phantom goes through as well. Phantom has a look around the outside, oh my god. That could have ended in tears. Marcelio's in the pits now to get that range change that he's just lost. What actually happened to Kuku? How did he drop behind Sean? Because I didn't even notice that he wasn't in the top 3 anymore.
Good question.
Alright. It is worth mentioning, coming into this race, the track master for Brazil, of course, like I said earlier, is Sean. But Gabri could actually take that over if he wins this race. Because he would tie Sean on wins. They'd both be on 1. But he could pull ahead on podiums, as well as, well, if they both get podiums, they would tie, but Gabri has a pole, which means that if they tie on wins and podiums, it would then go to poles, and then Gabri would be ahead. So if Gabri wins this race, which I'm sure he cares a lot about, he would be the Brazil Trackmaster. As we have Phantom Fox with a move on Kuko for P3. Sauber against Kuko. A rivalry we've seen quite a lot of. And it appears to be another day, another Kuko fucked. But also another Sauber fucked because he's lost DRS in the top 2. He's gonna have to gain quite a bit of time in the middle sector, and they are quite, yeah, a lot more ES charged as well.
No win for Arda.
Van der Fox is back in. Oh, yeah, literally no wing. What's happened here? That's not good for him. Yeah, he's gonna have to get back to the pit lane, get that wing changed, and then hope for a safety car to get back into this race. Otherwise, a very, very long way to go for him to get some points out of this. Sean has a look up instead of Kuko into the first corner, but that's not gonna work. Gabri's really putting the foot down. He's almost gotten Sully out of the air here. He wants to try and run away with this race as much as he possibly can. In the chasing train, we've got Jesse, Yusuf, Gugahura, Flavors, Bazooka and Owise all quite close together here. The battle for the last points paying between Gugahura, of course. He picked up a 10 scale time penalty earlier, which I think he's going to serve in the pit lane. So he's not going to get that removed, and he has wing damage. This is some very, very bad situations for Kuko there. That's not what he needs at all. A massive time penalty, wing damage, and he's running in P10. So, looking... Oh, Arda has crashed in the pit exit! He gets teleported onto the track, but he's got wing damage again.
Okay.
He's just come out the pit lane with a fresh front wing. And he's broken immediately. We've got a yellow flag for Owise. He's round at the last corner. Drops out of the battle for that last points paying position and drops behind both Pigs and his teammate Action Rick now into P15. I feel a little bit bad for these guys, like, running just out the points, because I basically don't show them unless they crash.
There's something really to show, unfortunately.
Well,
there might be an overtake or two, but...
Yeah, but yeah, there's overtakes happening up front. Yeah, that's why I stay up front. So the only time they get mentioned is if they win it.
Like, would you rather see Piastri and Verstappen, or would you rather see Hülkenberg against Stroll?
Hülkenberg, because he's good.
Stroll against Colapinto.
The Argentinian fans are gonna pay like a lot of money to see Colapinto and Colapinto only.
That is true. They will have their own F1 TV Argentinian version, and it's just him.
To be fair, that's a feature on F1 TV, isn't it? You can just ride on board with the driver. So
Gabri's in.
Oh, early pit stops from Gabri and Phantom. Yellow flags for Marcelio, I think. He's crashed at the pit exit. Again.
A lot of crashing at the pit.
Yeah, the pit lane is very, very tight, to be fair. I mean...
It is.
Yeah.
But this is a big chance for Gabri. We saw it was quite powerful, the undercut in Div 1.
Very. Kart came from last to first, pretty much.
Yeah.
Marcelio was off.
But at the same time, Kart wasn't getting slowed down in the middle sector every lap.
Yeah, to be fair, I think there was quite a bit of battling going on in the leading pack, which right now there is not at all. Sully is quite fired of Kuko, so there won't be any battling here. But still, the undercut is very strong. Gabri's out of DRS to Phantom. If he can come out the pit lane more than a second ahead of the cars behind, that could be his ticket to winning this race. And crucially, both Gabri and Phantom have come out in clean air. Marcelio's off again? Jesus Christ.
I think he's just letting people through.
Interesting way to let people through. I didn't know there was that much banking on the grass over there. I've never seen that part of the track. But it's not the track.
And the top three are all in.
Viral is still staying out. Interesting. So now we get to see...
The biggest loser so far of this pit stop phase has been Aussie Dry. He has been held up by the two McLarens.
Senio's now out the race, he's retired in the pit lane. Always gets a penalty for speeding in the pits as
well.
Is
Gabri,
and there we have Gabri, he's already passed and into the lead. And by a large margin. Van der Fox will come out in P2 and he's out of DRS to Van der Fox. Gabri has done it. Garby is broken away from next in the field,
That was
but
literally one lap.
he's not gone. It's close. If Phantom can get back into the DRS range, it'll all of a sudden
He's
be
burning.
completely
he's
open
definitely
again.
trying.
Of course, the cars behind could work together to try and catch back up to him. But that's not really what happens in Division 2 usually. But Phantom, he's got a lot of pace. He's been quick since the sector because every single time that Phantom is almost out, he just seems to gain time in the sector here. Yeah, he's back in. So much for Garby having broken DRS and running away with this race now. There he is, Phantom Fox. And Rival gets a penalty for speeding in the pits as well, coming in from the lead of the race. And Flavors. Guys, can't be that difficult. How is the like half the field getting penalties? Sully has lost DRS, I think. He had it for this straight still, but I think he won't have it for the second straight.
Yeah, and Phantom is just gonna pull it further away with the DRS now.
Oh, Sully had it just about, but unless Phantom gets blocked by Garby now, maybe next time around Sully won't have it. So Garby and Phantom could be driving away from the rest of the field. Which, well, I'm sure Garby would prefer to be on alone, but this is certainly still a very good scenario for him. Would guarantee at least a P2, if nothing else happens in this race.
You wonder what Phantom could do if he didn't eat dinner for the first 17 minutes of qualifying.
Desi has disconnected, I think. Yeah, he's still running. I will invite him back.
So he's well within that second mark.
There we go, I've invited Desi. Yeah. Phantom, Sully, Cuckoo and Sean all in range. It's only two Mercedes who've dropped out during this pit stop phase. Varun actually, I think, came out ahead of his teammate, even though Aussie had a 2-lap undercut. So, yeah, Aussie's pit stop phase didn't go well whatsoever. And Varun got a penalty, so a disaster on all fronts, Mercedes there.
They're kind of in no man's land, the Mercedes.
Yeah, not kind of. They are absolutely no man's land. Jesus. 3 ahead, 5 behind. They are racing each other and only each other. And even then, Rival has 13 seconds of pens now, I think. Yeah, and Google River did indeed serve the 10-second penalty that he had in the pits now. So there's no way to get that removed for him. But this pit stop phase actually was a lot calmer than I expected. There wasn't really a lot of drama.
And the only real change is Phantom managed to get up into second. That's kind of
Phantom has disrupted this Italian 1-2-3. And he looks very, very quick right now.
And has a lot of ERS in comparison.
Yeah, he doesn't want to go for the move
He's not
here.
even using it right now.
Yeah, he's happy to stick behind. But he definitely could overtake if he wanted to. Sean has dropped out of the ERS range to the top 4. He couldn't stay with them. Desi's back in the lobby, but he's lost a bit of time, of course. And now we have Phantom up the inside into the lead. Lanky Brown with a 3-second time penalty now. Sean is pushing to try and get back into the 1-second range to stay in that battle for the podium places. He's not going to want to give up, because of course if he drops out of this this DRS once, that could be race over for him. Well, not race over, he'll still be comfortably P5, but he'll have a very tough time to get back in the battle for those top spots. And it appears that Sean will also now be in no man's land, running in 5th place, away from the top 4 and way ahead of the Mercedes in behind. Varel has dropped quite far behind his teammate Aussie.
He might have just got it, he has.
Oh, okay. In the top 4 though, no changes, they are being incredibly boring. Someone just send it. I don't care if it's not smart, just send it. Whoa, Flavors! There we have it. To be fair, there actually is a reason to overtake here. Flavors with the move on Lanky Brown. He's got 5-lap fresher tires. So he needs to get past the Sauber and try and build a gap there. Lanky Brown definitely holding Flavors up. And with the 13 seconds of pens hanging over Viral's head, Flavors is definitely racing him as well, but Lanky does get back past in the next DRS zone. Flavors got a bit of wing damage. The front left end plate missing on the Alpine.
Suboptimal.
And the top 5 running away more and more. Sean is definitely still in DNS range comfortably this time around. But you can tell he's lagging behind a bit. He doesn't have quite the same pace as the top 4 do. Phantom is also taking the lead from Gabri, of course. And he seems to have a little bit more pace than Gabri did. Gabri isn't a Rio take anyway, though. DRS swap into turn 1. Nothing Phantom can do about that. He lets him go. Now both Flavors and Yusuf pass Lanky into turn 1. Yusuf goes a bit deep though, and Lanky with a beautiful switchback through the second part of the center S. Bazooka now also trying to attack the Haas. And I think he has been able to. Yusuf blocked in behind Lanky, can't go anywhere, and that allows Bazooka to go up the inside and take 10th position. Yusuf got off track there. I'm not sure if he was squeezed off by Bazooka. Couldn't really tell if he was still alongside from that camera angle. Always coming out the pit lane on some fresh soft compound tires. Can try and go for a fastest lap maybe. Comes of course out of the pits in last place. Phantom Fox back up the inside of Gabri. Those lead changes are gonna keep happening. Always getting a 10-second penalty for crossing the white level pit exit, but I think you only get when you do it 2 or 3 times. Aranda gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple track limit warnings, so I think Gabri might be about to re-overtake Phantom Fox for P1 once more. Yep, there we go. Gabri back into the lead. But those swaps are going to become quite relevant coming into the last handful of laps. I think that's when it really starts to kick off. Lap 30 and onwards, really. So when the drivers are going to start thinking about that last lap, about that run down to the line. Of course, we saw it in Division 1. It went down quite literally to the line. PC Money and myself side by side coming out the last corner. And over the line, I think it was about 15,000, something like that. That PC Money beat me by.
Fraudulent behavior.
And that is 7 points. That is how tight the margins can be. And 7 points is worth a lot in title fights, as close as we are having this season and most seasons really. As Gabri gets back past Phantom Fox. Oh, look at that!
Wow.
4 wide down to turn 1, and Gabri drops all the way down to 4th place. Phantom Fox leads from Sully and Kuko now. Gabri dropping to 4th. But he has a good run immediately down the hill. He might try and reclaim 3rd place, will he? At the meantime, Sully having a look up the inside on Phantom Fox. He reclaims the lead. Or claims it, I'm not sure if he ever had it. I'm not sure why I'm saying reclaim.
Yeah,
Phantom Fox has a look around the outside immediately. Gabri sneaks up the inside on Kuko. And he gets back into 3rd place.
And Sean is just watching.
Sean really...
happens.
I forget he's here. He's doing nothing. Get involved already, you fraud. See, knowing Sean, those top 4 are just gonna play bowling with each other at some point, he just wins.
We've seen that before in Brazil.
Imagine if Kuko pulls a 515 on Gabri. The absolute scenes. There would be an Italian civil war. Yellow flags in the middle sector for one of the Williams, and that's Pix, who was round and he rejoins the race in 15th. Bazooka swapping with Flavors.
The best equivalent I can give Sean is he is F1 Total's version of George Russell.
Does nothing, P3.
Yeah.
Does kind of feel like that, yeah. I don't remember a Sean race all season. Admittedly, he hasn't actually finished in the podium all season, so maybe not so George Russell, but as Pix retires in the race in the pit lane. Maybe Does Nothing P5 is more accurate.
Yeah.
He's missing the podiums. It's been a long time since he had one. Now always speeding in the pits again. That's his, what, like third 10-second penalty now? And he retires from the
And
race.
he calls it a day.
Just like that, Arda goes up 2 places. And yeah, he would have come out the pit lane lapped, so I understand why he was going to do that. Same for Pix. You can see his AI coming out the pit lane there. I'm not sure, why do AI drive out the pit lane to retire the car on track after you retire in the pit lane? It defeats the purpose of retiring in the pit lane.
This means you can't overtake for that entire straight now.
That's the most annoying part, there's just yellow flags. Sometimes you can overtake under yellow flags, and sometimes the game will tell you off. It's inconsistent. I usually just try it and then see what happens. For when I make an overtake, I'm not gonna let a yellow flag stop me. And sim racing, like... The purpose of yellow flags is to inform you of danger. So that no one gets hurt. So... why respect them in sim racing? That is Arda being lapped now by Phantom Fox, and Phantom Fox actually picks up a bit of DRS of him.
Not good team play from...
It doesn't really matter.
I was going to say AlphaTauri, but it's not AlphaTauri.
If this was the last lap, I would agree, but we are very far away from the end, so Phantom Fox having DRS this one lap doesn't really matter. Unless he breaks DRS to Sully now, which I don't think he will.
I don't. Yeah.
Pix with the rage quit there as well. He doesn't want to try and maybe stay to engineer Sean, help him to throw the podium out of this. Nope, he's gone.
It's still not out of the equation for Viral to get P7.
It's 13 seconds of pens are going to make it quite difficult, but the gap to
But they
Bazooka and
are
Flavor is
gapping
opening up more and
that
more, yeah.
train. Like
And look at this battling. Oh, Yusuf! And he's round! Whoa, what a save. Never mind. Oh no. Yusuf trying to go 3 right Bazooka and Flavors. They make a bit of contact. I'm not sure who caused that. I don't want to put anyone at fault for that really yet. I'll have to look at it again. Yeah, he loses control, goes over the grass, rejoins the track, and jumps over the curb, like the runoff curb basically. Gets air. And then he does save it at first, but then as he tries to rejoin the racetrack, he spins. And that's him now 6 seconds away from the 2 Alpines. He was on for some good points. Probably would have beaten Raul as well, I think. So he would have beaten Lanky, Flavors, and Raul just purely based on the time penalties. That could have put him well into the points, but unfortunately for him, that's not quite far
Gabriel
away.
wants to take advantage. No, Phantom wants to lead back.
Sully and Phantom. That's smart from Phantom there to try and... because if he knows that if he doesn't go for that gap on Sully, that gap will have a run. Oh, Juka, where's he come from? And Sean! Although Gary's not going to take any of that, surely. He tries to sneak back up the inside of Sean. He knows Sean has been doing nothing but just sitting there. He needs to stay ahead of him.
Oh, Kuko's got damage. He's hit into the back of Phantom.
That's going to be fun. After the race. Might be seeing some... Oh, Sean back up the inside on Gabby. Gabby loses control. Does catch the car, but he's down to 5th place with that. And Sean has not lost DRS yet, but if they keep battling, they're going to lose DRS. One of these guys has to back out. Oh my god. Sean is out of ERS. Gary pulls ahead. And I think Gary has lost DRS in the top 3 in all of this. Or has he?
No, he's okay.
Great Center is. I think he's just about held on to it. Yep, he has. Important for him. But he's quite low on ERS now, while the cars ahead have a bit more. Truco's wing damage might save him in terms of staying in DRS range to him. Yellow flags fire, that was crashed at the center S, and we've got a safety car out. Safety car out on track. With
Surely Kuko repaired that wing, he'll only drop to 5th.
Yeah, in Kuko's position I'll definitely change that wing now. Of course, everyone is going to come in for soft. Yeah, so absolutely no question about it, you pit for softs in this scenario. Kuko will drop to 5th, the wing change, which he should definitely change, I think. Those 2 places are worth it. Aussie will double stack behind Varel, that shouldn't matter. Actually, Varel is gonna have to serve the 10 seconds. It could matter for Aussie, he might drop behind Desi with that. This Flavors also the 10-second penalty. The good news for Lanky on his very old tires. Guru and Action actually on the mediums. Yeah, actually mediums could be better for these laps. We shall see. Phantom in, Sully in, Kuko in, Gabri in, Sean in, who would have thought? Well, Sean trying the 2016 China Sebastian Vettel move, but not possible. The pit lane a bit too tight. Rival in, Aussie out. Aussie did this a couple of weeks ago in RL Zandvoort. Stayed out on the late safety car. But that was F1 2020. F1 24 works quite a bit differently on the tyre wear. Those hards will be several seconds lap slower than the softs that everybody else just put on. So he's going to suffer quite badly on that restart. I guess he just didn't want to double stack behind his teammate who is now serving the penalty.
Yeah.
Viral has dropped behind... or has he dropped behind anyone? I don't think he has actually. No, he's dropped behind Lanky. Okay, so Aussie would have dropped behind Bazooka as well. But mostly soft, mediums for Bazooka, Flavors, Guru and Action Rig. The rest in the field on softs. I think I personally would have gone mediums, so I'm surprised to see so many softs.
Why do you think mediums are a better idea?
If it was 1 or 2 laps to go after the safety car restart, I would understand what Aussie is doing here, but there are so many laps to go after the restart, and it's going to be so much slower. I'm not quite sure what the thinking behind this strategy is for Aussie. Does he expect to be able to hold on to places like this? It's used hards against fresh softs or fresh mediums. It literally couldn't be anywhere. Kuku was actually indeed changed the front wing like we thought he would, and he's dropped behind Sean and Gabri. So Gabri's back into, well, P4. I was gonna say effective P3, but no. Of course, Aussie is not pitting, so he is actually there. Pit stop cleared. Although, we all know he's gonna drop like an absolute stone. But he could become crucial if, say, Phantom Fox makes a move on him. Coming up on the restart. And then Sonny, Gabri, Sean, Kuko, and everybody else in behind don't. They could drop out of DRS, and that could be the way to win this race, really, to get Aussie between yourself and the cars you're battling.
In other news, PSG are beating Arsenal 1-0.
Great news. I don't really care, actually.
No, it is to decide who gets into the Champions League.
I prefer Arsenal as a club, and I prefer PSG squad, so I don't know. I don't really mind. I wanted Barca to win after we went out, and now they are out.
Yeah.
And I don't really like any club that's left. Oh, Lanky and Kuku are in a disagreement about who should be P6 here. I believe they settled on Kuko. Or have they? What is Lanky doing?
And we are in.
And Action Rig is called up and the safety has been called in. Aussie conducts the restart. At the end of lap 29, heading onto lap 30. Our sprint race is on the line. This could be very, very spicy. A championship-defining sprint race. Gary, he needs as many points as possible, but he also can't afford to take too much risk. Let's see how he plays this. Aussie restarts the Grand Prix. And a good reaction from Phantom Fox. He will not have him to turn 1, I'm pretty sure, but maybe down the hill into turn 4 with a good run on those fresh softs. They should have a major traction advantage. Yeah. Oh, Phantom Fox!
Oh, Phantom's got damage.
Major traction advantage, I said, and he goes into the back of him.
He gets another penalty.
He's still gonna be a lot faster than the Mercedes, and he will take the lead of the race here into turn 4. Nothing that Aussie can do about that. And look how much later Sully and Gary are breaking behind, even though they're battling. Aussie is a moving roadblock right about now.
This is what Phantom needs, though, during the middle sector, for him to just hold those up.
But I think Sully is gonna get the pass, and Gary will follow through as well.
Yeah.
Yep, Gary's now alongside, and as soon as they are alongside, there's nothing Aussie can do, because they just swoop around the outside. Look at that. Aussie with a moment of Austin here, and he makes contact with Sean. They bang wheels.
It was a very poor decision to stay out.
Yeah, and now look at that. Kuko just goes clean around his outside, and he's back to where he was before. So within 1 lap, he's lost 5 places, and he's about to lose probably 5 more, because Bazooka, Rival, Desi, Lanky, Kuga, Yusuf, Flavors, and Action Rig are all not far behind. So, one lap after the restart, we are back to where we were. Got a very clear Sean and Kuko. Bazooka on those mediums though, keep an eye on him as Flamus gets a 10-second penalty for gaining a place while corner cutting, that's interesting. Sully under attack from Gabri into turn 4. Saying Bazooka lurking in behind on those fresh mediums could become a factor if he stays with them, and maybe the soft drop off a bit. Stacey gets past Pyro.
Too much.
And now he's gonna have to try and get past his teammate Aussie. Oh, look at Google River having a look up inside on Viral. It's loose and he's round! Moment of Aussie for Google. He's not quite round, he saved it, but he's lost the position to Lanky Brown. Phantom Fox now has to finish this race with a broken front wing, missing the end plate on the left hand side. The good news for him is this track is anti-clockwise, so you need the left end plate less than you usually would. The right one is the more crucial one. But still, not ideal to have wing damage. Sully takes lead of the Grand Prix. Oh. And it's also not a track where the outright pace matters all too much. The DRS games will be the defining factor here. Of course, being quick never hurts. And Phantom, he's gonna try and reclaim the lead, is he? But he doesn't have the momentum to do so. Gabri though, very low in EAS, he wants to try and get past Phantom Fox. And there comes Sean, up the inside. Oh, Sean! What a move! What a move by Sean! And he's pulled ahead, is on the inside, and he outbreaks a Ferrari and is up into 3rd place.
It's exactly what Gabri didn't need.
That was Sean showing all of his experience though. He saw Gabri was out of EAS, he saw that he was attacking Phantom Fox too hard, left himself vulnerable, and immediately Sean sneaks up the inside on a place you don't usually see many overtakes. Takes his opportunities up to 3rd place now. Sully has almost broken the EAS of Phantom Fox. That wing damage definitely hurting him, and it's gonna be very good news for Sully because now Sean, Gabri, Kuko need to get around him. Bazooka as well, he's right there. Need to get around Phantom Fox if they want to have a chance of beating Sully. But they also can't really battle Phantom Fox too much because he's already close to losing the EAS to Sully. Scarby has maybe a run on Sean, but he's very low on EAS. I don't think he's got the energy to make that run. And he's stuck behind for a little while longer. And this P4 would not be nearly enough. He'd be 18 points behind Edwin coming to the last race. That's not what he needs. He needs to be a lot closer than that. The margins are so tight, but this will be so important for the championship. These couple of tenths that are between these drivers, as Google River retires from the race with only a handful of laps to go, not even a handful of laps to go. Yeah, right now Gabri scores 12 and will be 18 behind. If he were to win this race, it would be 25 and he'd only be 5 behind. And that's such a massive difference. Only separated by a few meters. Now he has a run on Sean. He's going to try and around the outside at the turn 1. Up ahead, Phantom Fox going for the move on Sully as well for the lead. They are side by side in the center S. Sean goes deep. And maybe Gabri with a switch back, but they are both so low on the air. Sean is out already. And I think Gabri, he's also out. Oh, come on. But is he still gonna try it around the outside? No, he's stuck behind. He cannot find a way through. He's not got the energy. The EAS management is failing Gabri right now. He's gonna try it up the hill around the outside. Gabri. Oh, what a move! Ooh. I think he's got him. Sean breaks super late on the inside and he gets to the apex, he gets the car stopped, he pulls ahead. Sean holding on to that P3 with everything he's got, and Edwin must be in love with Sean right now. Because Edwin, yeah, of course, is hoping Gabri finishes as low as possible, and Sean is keeping Gabri away from those top 2 spots, keeping away from the battle for the race win. So we head on to the last 2 laps.
Oh, he's hit him!
And now...
they've lost the race because of it.
Yep. Gabri is going to take P3. But he's not got DRS, and neither does Sean. Look at Kuko! And Bazooka coming through!
Out of nowhere.
Neither Sean nor Gabri got DRS. Oh, Gabri makes wheels with Bazooka! This is not looking good for Gabri. Oh, Phantom Fox, where's he come from? It's a massive crash! And Sean is out the race!
Oh my god.
What was that? What? Wait, where did Phantom
What
Fox even
happened
come
to
from?
Phantom?
Yeah, you just came. I didn't know he was there. He just kind of appeared. I think he went deep and rejoined the track and then hit someone. Sean.
I know Sully's in plain sailing.
Yeah, all of a sudden, Sully looks like he's won this race. Sean, from what would have been a podium position, finally, after so long, out of the race, not gonna score any points from all of this. Sully has pretty much secured this race win. QQ is under attack from Gary for P2, and that will be crucial right now. Gary 15 points behind coming into the last race. If he can bring that down to 12, that would be very good news for him. And he's got a lot more years than Kuko. I think Gary has a very good chance of claiming P2 of Kuko. Of course, he has
He
to
doesn't
hope.
need to go for the move yet. He's
Yeah.
going to, I think.
Yep, he wants to go for it here.
I think you want to be second of the cars going into the final corner, to be honest.
Ah, it depends. Because if you have a pace advantage, you can pull away. And
Gary's
Kuko
saving all his ERS right now.
is going to reclaim second place. But, well,
Gary's making sure he has the full tank while Kuko's sitting with 20.
yeah, I think Gary has this one because he's got a lot of ERS. He got the pace advantage over Kuko, I think. And he will be able to stay close, and that's all he needs to do. Oh, Desi trying to sneak up the inside of Phantom Fox, and he pulls it off.
And Desi out of nowhere is coming in with a good result.
Yeah, he's side by side with Phantom Fox in the middle sector here, and he's going to try and hang on around the outside. And he moves up on the 4th place. Desi, very nice move.
Oh, a big slide for him though.
And Phantom Fox is back through, but Phantom Fox has lost the airs, I think, in all of that, which will allow Desi to probably will take him down to the line. Sully, up the hill, he's winning this race. Congratulations, Sully, but we've got a battle for P2. I'm sorry, Sully, you're not getting a moment. You deserve this race win, very good drive, but Gary is about to make a crucial overtake for the championship. Around the outside of Kuko, down to the line, and Gary takes second place. 80 points for him, then Kuko, then Phantom Fox, then Desi, then Viral, dropping down with the penalties, Bazooka 6. Then we have got Viral, Action Rick in 8th, then Lanky Brown, then Yusuf, then Flamers, and Aussie finally coming home in 12th position. Fast lap of the race goes to Sully, the full 26 points going the way of Sully. And we've got, after all of that, we ended with the same top 3 from qualifying, an Italian 1, 2 and 3, Sully, Gary and Kugo. Just a different order this time around. Drive of the day goes to Desi, which I think is a very, very good pick. But really, there's so many candidates for that one. A lot of drivers with great drives.
Phantom unhappy with Sully, so maybe it's not Sully's win just yet.
Interesting.
And that would leave...
I mean, I did see Gary
Gabby
literally
win.
drive through Sean. Through the last corner. And Sean
Yeah,
has been
Gabby
on a...
He has been trigger happy with the reports.
Yeah, he's been very petty. I mean, of course he gains nothing from reporting him, so we'll see if he will. But I'm sure Edwin wants him to report
For
Gabby.
championship reasons, I kind of hope it's a Gabry win.
I wouldn't mind that, yeah, it would be wide open. Right now he would be 12 points behind Edwin, which would mean it's possible, but...
I was asking for a lot.
Yeah, I mean a
Gab-
P4
like a
for
Gabby
Edwin
win,
and a P1 for Gabby
P-
seems possible, but of course Edwin will have the big advantage. And yeah, if Sully were to get a penalty for whatever Phantom is complaining about, I didn't see it unfortunately. I guess that's why Phantom went in turn 1 when he rejoined and there was the massive crash. I've not gotten the results from it, unfortunately, I think. Yeah, just the back screen and then back to the main menu. That's annoying. Yeah. But if Gabby were to take that race win off Sully, if whatever Phantom is complaining about does actually get a penalty for Sully, which I don't want to comment about, like I said, didn't even see it, then Gabby would come to the last race 5 points behind, and a race win secured for him. Well, very, very, very interesting race that, the last couple of laps especially. For that, quite a bit of DRS swaps. But you could never, like, turn your eyes away from the screen. It wasn't, like, edge of your seat stuff the entire time, but there was always the potential, you know? They were so close together, or something can happen at all times. And that was quite nice. But yeah, that's been the Brazilian Grand Prix. Any final words from your side, Jonathan?
All I'll say is I hope I'm available next week. I don't want to miss that.
Yeah, that could be a very, very spicy finale. The two Ferraris battling each other at Monza. I mean, the good news is, whatever happens, the Tifosi can come into the last race knowing they have won the Constructors and one of their drivers is going to win the Drivers' Championship. So, there will be some heavy celebrations in Italy. But, we shall see. This is... What a season we're having. I cannot wait for that season finale next week, and, well, you said you want to be there. I definitely want to be there. I will be there. It's gonna be a lot of fun next week in Monza. Thank you so much for watching this race. Yeah, and see you for the two title deciders, both at Monza, of course, on Saturday in Division 1. Myself, 14 points behind Car as I come into the last race, so I'm gonna need a minor miracle. I'll try everything I can. If I win the race, maybe Carl's wheel dies again. Maybe I have a chance.
Unfortunately, I am winning.
If you win, I finish P3 and Carl scores 0, I'll take it. That's a championship for me as well.
It's actually going to be a me, Phantom, and Dylan top 3.
Dylan is literally not racing.
He will find a way.
Well, yeah, the Division 1 title aside on Saturday. 14 points myself behind KS and a 3-way title fight in the Constructors, worth mentioning. Mercedes on 197, Ferrari on 184, and Haas on 183. So 13 points between Mercedes and Ferrari, and then 1 point between Ferrari and Haas. That could be very, very fun. I'm looking forward to that one. And of course, the Division 1 title decider 7 days from now, the last race that we're going to be doing on F1 24. After that, we will have a Classic Car Championship on F1 2020. So I'm looking forward to that one as well. And then, with a break, 1 or 2 weeks, I'm not sure how much time we actually have between the Classic Cars and the next season starting, but then we go to F1 25. Hopefully, a better game. Cannot wait to leave this game behind me and uninstall it, never touch it again. I go back to basically every F1 game. Like after a few years, I'll be like, I have some nostalgia for this. I want to try it again. I don't think 24 is going to be one of those. This is going to be in my library forever. I will never touch it again. Awful game. Although I do go back to F1 2015 out of joke, I guess. So maybe that will be...
22 is another game I don't go back to ever.
I've gone back to 22. Not in the 2015 style where I'm like, haha, this is so shit. I want to try again, see how shit it actually was. I liked it. I went back to it, I liked it.
That is an unpopular opinion, to say the least.
To be fair, it was the game where I peaked, basically. That was the best I've ever driven. Yeah. I won't miss 24, that's for sure. Have a good evening, everyone. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.